Presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano program. Cars Plus. Drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Coming up on Primetime, an individual is arrested for the gruesome murder of a 61-year-old Santa Rita man. Plus, classes in session for all Guam Department of Education public schools. And second-dose vaccinations for Manumku continued today, this time at the University of Guam Calvo Fieldhouse.
Hafa day and good evening, I'm Adriana Cotero. It's a story that has left many on the island shaken up, a gruesome murder in the southern village of Santa Rita. A press conference was held this afternoon at the GPD headquarters in Tizen, with the chief of police confirming the arrest of a 40-year-old man for the murder of 61-year-old Andrew Ray Castro. Peter Santos has tonight's top story.
A typically quiet street bordering the villages of Agate and Santa Rita was shook to the core when 61-year-old Andrew Ray Castro, who was wheelchair-bound, was found by his wife in their unit at the Valley's apartments, decapitated. Guam Police Department Chief Steve Ignacio.
During the course of the investigation, detectives assigned to CID conducted numerous interviews and canvassed the neighborhood, which led to the identity of a person of interest.
After conducting interviews, Guam Police Department detectives were able to locate 40-year-old Donovan Allen Chargaloff Ornelas. He was brought in for questioning as a person of interest.
Through the course of the interview, Mr. Ornelas had provided information as to the incident surrounding the death investigation. Detectives were also able to locate and confiscate evidence relative to this incident.
According to Chief Ignacio, after thorough interviews, detectives were able to locate the head of Castro on the opposite side of the island.
Yes, we did find the lifeless body of Mr. Castro, who was decapitated, and that we did recover his head at a location in Dedero.
Detectives were also able to determine that Ornelas and Castro were familiar with one another and reportedly had a familial connection. As we recently reported, KUAM was first on scene and had a chance to speak with the friends and family of the victim. Through those reports, it was believed that this case may have been drug-related.
We have information to believe that this may have been a result or there was drugs involved in this investigation.
Ornelas was later arrested for murder, aggravated assault, and possession and use of a deadly weapon in commission of a felony. According to Chief Ignacio, an autopsy of the victim is currently pending and awaiting the arrival of a medical examiner. Despite arresting Ornelas for murder, GPD will continue to follow through with investigating this case and is working closely with the prosecution division at the Office of the Attorney General. For Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Thank you, Peter. It was a soft opening yesterday for GDOE with only 3 schools resuming on-campus learning. Today, all 41 public schools opened their doors and welcomed students back the best and safest way possible, with temperature checks, of course. Tyler Matanani tells us more on today's events.
The governor may have given the go, but yesterday, only 3 out of 41 GDOE schools held on-campus classes. The 3 schools, Sanchez, FBLG, and Benavente Middle School, had the highest rate of registered students to return. As a result, the schools are working on a 3-cohort schedule. Today, all 41 GDOE schools resumed face-to-face classes. GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez explained the morning events at JFK High.
It was like going to the airport. It was like going through TSA. So multiple lines, people screening you, sending the next station and all the way in. But at the same time, it wasn't crowded, it wasn't chaotic. And so I felt that the teachers and staff were comfortable in being able to handle the influx of students.
According to Fernandez, schools are starting to build wait lists for parents that initially chose online learning, but have since changed their minds about allowing their children to return to campus.
We're going to try to stabilize our operations over these first couple of weeks, and then we can determine how to proceed with those wait lists. But I was just interested to learn that I believe at one school are about 100 students already on a wait list to come back face to face.
He says schools may begin to accommodate more arrivals of students within the next 2 to 3 weeks, but for the time being wants teachers and staff to feel comfortable with the process and protocols in place. Vaccination will play a key factor in making sure teachers and staff feel safe enough to support the return of an influx of students. He says the Guam Regional Medical City, along with the American Medical Center, have volunteered to take on the task of vaccinating GDOE employees and have been in touch with public health and representatives from the governor's office and the surgeon's cell.
There was a meeting yesterday that took place where they were discussing the logistics. And, from our standpoint, and I know the other schools, once they tell us it's available and tell us where and when, and we'll organize our employees to go out there and get vaccinated. We can handle that part. Yeah. We just need to know that there will be doses available and locations available.
A decision has yet to be made or finalized, but he says once the vaccination committee gives the green light, they'll be moving forward in employee vaccinations. The board will be discussing various strategies for credit recovery, which includes exploring options of summer school, expanding online options, and after-school programs. Fernandez mentioned concerns brought up by GDOE Vice Chair Dr. Mary Okada and how she's been active in wanting to turn the conversation from access to quality of education and how to help students catch up. It's been 5 months now that schools have been waiting on additional supplies that are supposed to help stabilize distance education. According to Fernandez, it's still going through the procurement process.
They were waiting for the bids to come in, and I think that's another week to allow the bidders to submit their proposals or their bids for the service. And then once we get to that selection process, we can announce it.
After meeting with Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio, a second round of funding can be expected with similar purposes as the first round of CARES Act funds. In addition, he says there is a possibility of receiving another COVID relief package along with a third wave of educational funds. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
Vaccinations continue this week, and this time Public Health added a new venue to their list of vaccination sites. Public Health PIO Janela Carrera gave us a look at their setup at the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse. Here's more.
Today is our first day having a vaccination clinic here at the UOG Fieldhouse. We're very excited about today, actually. No hiccups, no issues whatsoever to report. As you can see, it's a very smooth flowing process here. We've got all 5 stations.
As hundreds of Manamco make their way through all 5 stations to receive their second dose of the COVID vaccine, what we see is a drastic improvement on how the vaccination process goes. And it looks like Public Health has got the process down packed, with the UOG Calvo Fieldhouse running like a well-oiled machine. And down south, Carrera says things are running just as smooth.
Southern is actually a great location. I'm glad that we set up a vaccination clinic to cater to our Southern residents. A lot of good feedback there as well. The process there is also very smooth, good flow there as well. And I think that's a site that will continue to open for our Southern villagers.
Throughout 2020, the pandemic has truly brought the importance of mental health to the main stage. Here at the vaccination sites, Carrera says Guam Behavioral Health has been on standby to help those struggling to upkeep their mental health get connected to their services.
Throughout this entire pandemic, we know it's been very difficult for our island residents, suicide rates, a lot of our counseling hotline. We also opened that up. Guam Behavioral Health has been a great partner as well. And, we saw phone calls increase. And so we have them here. They're here available for anybody who may need counseling. It's important to recognize that COVID-19 has had an impact on the mental health of many individuals, emotional and mental health. And so we want to make sure that individuals, adults, anybody who's receiving a COVID-19 vaccine is aware of any of the services out there related to mental health. And so they're here, and we're glad that they're here available to offer those resources.
Guam Behavioral Health's Project Link representative, Marisha Mariano.
We're trying to promote our crisis hotline, break the stigma on mental health, because a lot of people are going through a lot of transitions in their life, whether it be hardships with their employment, with their housing, with losing a loved one. So we just want to make sure we let the community know that we're here and able to assist in this time.
According to Carrera, vaccinations will continue tomorrow at the Fieldhouse, as well as at the Southern Regional Health Center for those 60 and older, with another vaccination clinic for 60 and above taking place at Okuru High School on Saturday. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Jonagan Charfris.
The Joint Information Center reports 6 new cases of COVID-19 was identified out of 565 tests performed on Tuesday. 1 case reported recent travel history and were identified in quarantine. To date, there have been a total of 7,521 officially reported cases of COVID-19, with 128 deaths, 119 cases in active isolation, and 7,274 not in active isolation. The CAR score is 1.0. This morning, island dignitaries gathered at the Ladea Freedom at Adelup to pay tribute to those who lost their lives to COVID-19. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero.
At the beginning of this pandemic, FEMA had projected that we could lose as many as 3,000 lives. Knowing this was not an option, we did whatever we could under our authority to protect our island and keep our people safe. But even one death is one too many. And we are here today to remember each person whose life was cut too short because of COVID-19.
A tolling of the bells took place, ringing 128 times, once for each life lost here on Guam. A member of the Capuchin Franciscan Order has tested positive for COVID-19 and was admitted to Guam Regional Medical City yesterday. The Archdiocese of Agena has notified the Department of Public Health and Social Services and has activated its contact tracing. The Capuchin priest does not actively celebrate masses at any of the churches. However, out of an abundance of caution, the pastors of Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament, San Miguel, Santa Teresita, St. Jude, and St. Francis have placed themselves in quarantine because of possible exposure. The masses at those 5 parishes overseen by the Capuchins are also temporarily suspended until further notice. Their churches and offices are also closed for the duration. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz says that now it's up to the Attorney General to determine if differential pay for unclassified employees and elected officials is legal. The OPA released an audit report Tuesday on COVID-19 payroll expenses that showed that 54 cabinet members, mayors, and vice mayors received some $176,000 in compensation. Cruz says typically it would be illegal for them to receive bonus pay, but there may be an exception in this case.
There is a federal grant to the governor that does not go into the legislature for an appropriation, that the governor can direct its expenditure by executive order. This was CARES fund that was given directly to the governor's office, $118 million, and it was their determination of the governor's office to pay it out under this differential pay executive order. And so there's the law here and the executive order, and we just pointed out and we're referring it to the Attorney General.
The OPA also questions double-tie payments made by GPA and GWA. He says while line agency employees receive differential pay under a policy established by the governor through executive order, the utilities chose not to follow it.
But the unfortunate part is that $2.5 million is being paid for by the fees that we pay for our utilities. And the ones that went in maybe deserved it, but the ones that teleworked, I have great questions of that.
Both GPA and GWA have responded to the audit report with justifications for the double pay. They say it was consistent with their policy in previous natural disasters or emergencies. However, the OPA is still seeking an AG's opinion on the issue. The OPA also released a new flash report today on the Coronavirus Relief Fund, which indicates that GovGuam has spent about $73.5 million of the $118 million provided by the Federal CARES Act. That leaves about $44.3 million or 38% left for Governor Leon Guerrero to spend. The original deadline was December 31st, 2020, but that was extended and the governor now has until December 31st of this year to encumber the money. The OPA report covers spending through November 30th, 2020. Miscellaneous expenditures accounted for about 60% of $44 million. Most of this was for local direct assistance, $16.5 million for the Small Business Pandemic Assistance Program, and $15.8 million for the Programi Salapi Azudan Itaw-Taw, and $720,000 for the COVID-19 Bereavement Assistance Program. Another $28.5 million was spent on salaries, wages, and contractual services. A breakdown of the spending is available on the OPA website. Much needed help will finally be on the way soon for families struggling through the pandemic. New stimulus checks will be mailed out starting at the end of next week. The Guam Department of Revenue and Taxation announced that the IRS and the U.S. Treasury Department have approved its $108 million request for the second round of economic impact payments. Approval was also received for the advanced transfer of 90% of the funds. Stimulus payments are already being made to taxpayers in the mainland U.S. And stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years, Travel's Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead. Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings.
Nacho fries. Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
More government witnesses take the stand in murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial, including the man arrested alongside him in the case, Thomas Taitano. He testifies that he saw Palacios with a gun in hand and shot Keith Castro.
I was scared. I didn't know how to react. I was really scared. I was in shock. I was crying.
In the evening of July 28, 2019, Leonila Vasquez, commonly recognized as Lala, heard a gunshot. She ran outside Matthew Sablan's home, feeling shocked, confused, and scared. This is the Jigo residence where a fight ensued amongst a handful of individuals, which resulted in the death of Keith Castro. Joshua Palacios is the man on trial accused for the deadly shooting of Castro. Lala testified she was at the Sablan home with her then-boyfriend, Thomas Taitano. Taitano was charged in the case for assaulting Castro. According to Lala, she was with Taitano the entire day of July 28th. And they visited Sablan's residence once in the morning, then again in the evening.
Now, isn't it a fact that you, Thomas Taitano, and Matt Sablan were smoking crystal methamphetamine that late morning, early afternoon of July 28th?
Yes.
Lala testified they returned back to the home to exchange the drug ice for clothing from Sablan. However, Taitano testified he did not recall visiting the Sablan home twice that day. He says he was there in the evening and upon arrival immediately confronted Castro for talking bad on social media about his brother Joshua Taitano and sister-in-law Johnny Rosario.
Then can you tell me what happened after you had a fight with Keith Castro?
The crowd that was there tried to separate us, and then after that, there's a car blew up, and the person got down with the gun.
Who was that person that got down with the gun?
Joshua Palacios.
What did he do after he got out of the car?
He approached Keith Castro and then started fighting, and then Keith fell.
When you say fight, what was he doing to Keith?
They were fighting, man. They punching each other while he had the gun on his hand. And when Keith fell, he punches him again on the ground, and then the gun went off.
Taitano testified that he only met Palacios a few months prior for a drug deal. He was unaware he would appear at Sablan's home that night. Taitano has since pled guilty to aggravated assault charges and entered a cooperation agreement with the government. As stated in court today, he has been incarcerated since he turned himself in on August 2, 2019. And per his agreement, Taitano is expected to be released from jail in roughly 2 weeks. Both parties drew questions toward the August 2, 2019 date regarding the written statement Lala provided to the Guam Police Department, which she had trouble recalling in court. Lala testified she was at GPD Tizen headquarters for about 5 hours that evening, with multiple officers keeping a watchful eye on her.
You stated that in regard to your statement that they wanted, they kept insisting. Who is they?
The officers. The ones who kept questioning me.
Okay, they were asking over and over and over again?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and I think you said they just wanted more and more and more?
Yeah, but I already told them, I already gave them my statement, and I guess it wasn't enough for them that they kept asking me the same thing over and over.
Lala's testimony concluded this afternoon. She was excused from the courtroom. Trial resumes tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. with Taitano back on the stand to testify. And we are less than 24 hours away from the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. The President-elect is expected to touch on themes of unity in tomorrow's address, which will take place exactly 2 weeks after the deadly Capitol riot. Natalie Brand is on Capitol Hill with more.
President-elect Joe Biden made his way to Washington after delivering a farewell address in his home state of Delaware.
Excuse the emotion, but when I die, Delaware will be written on my heart.
Later, Mr. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will hold a ceremony at the Lincoln Memorial to honor those who have died in the coronavirus pandemic. President Trump has no public appearances planned during his last full day in office. The president is expected to hand down somewhere between 50 and 100 pardons and commutations.
Outgoing Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell pointed the finger at the president in his first public remarks since the House voted to impeach Mr. Trump for a second time over the deadly Capitol riots.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
The Capitol riot and threats of domestic extremism were in focus as Senate committees held confirmation hearings for 5 Biden cabinet nominees Tuesday.
The threat of domestic extremism is one of the greatest challenges that the Department of Homeland Security confronts.
Several National Guard members have been removed from inauguration duty, including 2 with possible ties to extremist groups.
Out of an abundance of caution, we automatically pull those personnel off the line and make sure that they're not part of the mission set. And in certain cases, we make sure that we get them sent home.
Law enforcement officials confirmed to CBS News the first conspiracy case has been filed in connection to the Capitol riots against 3 members of the extremist Oath Keepers group. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And there are 2 ways to watch the historic inauguration of Joe Biden as our country's 46th president. Watch CBS's live coverage starting at midnight on TV 11 or on TV 8 at 1 a.m. A new commander-in-chief takes the oath of office and faces unprecedented challenges. So watch this moment in American history. Again on KUAM TV 11 at midnight and TV 8 starting at 1 a.m. A bill to bar anyone convicted of official misconduct from working from Gov Guam was just introduced by Senator Joanne Brown. The measure is a response in part to recent reports by KUAM and other media about former corrections officer Frankie Rosselin. He pled guilty to a charge related to drug and contraband smuggling at the prison and was recently hired as a program manager at the port. Rosselin also happens to be the boyfriend of Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio's sister, a fact not lost on Senator Brown.
Following the law and making sure fairness was...
And there's no way you're going to convince me or probably many other people in this community that this is all on the up and up, that there's no special connection or allowances to make this happen. Right now, the port is where the money is, and you've seen since this general manager has taken over the Port Authority, he has expended millions of dollars of public money paying people who have done some very, very bad things against our people.
To make a presentation to the board.
Brown is the former port GM who has feuded with her successor, Rory Respicio, over the rehiring of employees that she fired for alleged travel falsification and a cover-up scheme. Brown says the hiring of Rosselin sends the wrong message about nepotism and accountability.
that this is setting the standard of performance for this administration repeatedly. I mean, this is the scandal this week. What's the scandal next week or the week after? And then they'll just wait and let it pass. And, next week it'll be forgotten. But I'm not of that position. I think we need to bring this to light. As I mentioned, this could have happened in any other department or agency. Unfortunately, it's happened at the port, where every effort should be made to ensure that the port is operating as effectively and efficiently and without this type of nonsense going on.
Currently, an AG's opinion states that hiring individuals convicted of official misconduct is at the sole discretion of agency directors. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Tenorio was a guest on today's Link multimedia show. You can watch his full reaction to the controversy on our social media page. Coming up after the break, more primetime news. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
We knew it was time to make these when we started asking things like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to get a warm cinnamon roll right now? And why can't this kind of muffin come from the same place as a McMuffin? And isn't your coffee lonely without company from a glazed apple fritter? Well, consider these our 3 resounding yeses. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of KUAM Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Welcome back. The Guam Chamber of Commerce has a new board of directors for 2021. The board acted to keep Christine Belletto, CFO of Docomo Pacific and Masters Franchise Pacific Fruits LLC, as chairwoman of the board. Edward Ontalan, Senior VP and Guam CNMI Region Manager of First Hawaiian Bank, was elected Vice Chairman. Mark Tokaito, Senior Vice President of Bank of Hawaii, was elected Secretary Treasurer, and Christopher Dueña, CFO of Triple J Enterprises, was elected to fill the seat vacated by the immediate past chairman. President of the Guam Chamber of Commerce, Catherine Castro, saying because of the tumultuous year that was 2020, the work of the chamber is more important than ever to maintain the traction started last year and stay focused on moving programs and initiatives forward vital to the economic well-being of our community. And we've got some amazing news about truly outstanding young people. As KUAM's sponsored company for junior achievement creatability won coveted JA Guam's 2020 Company of the Year in a regional competition. The team, comprised of local high school students, created Inventabu, a cultural keepsake guide, as their product. These young entrepreneurs were challenged to develop a company around original product. They conceived and demonstrated their ability to organize, delegate responsibilities, work as a team, manage finances, develop a marketing plan, and most importantly, execute on that strategy. Tune into the link tomorrow to meet the award-winning creatability team. And don't go away, we have your birthday shout-outs when we return.
For the different beats of your life, We're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
January 20th is a great day to have a birthday, so if it is yours today, happy birthday to Cohen. To our amazing son and grandson, we wish you a very happy 15th birthday, young man. You are smart, and we are so proud of your accomplishments. We love and miss you so very much. Warmest wishes from Mom, Grandma Ree, and your familia on Guam, in Texas, California, and in Washington. Connor Jude Sablon celebrates birthday number 5 today, and may God bless you today and always. Love, Dad, Mom, Ver, Jace, Grandma, and Papa. Happy birthday number 21 to Evan Bejarana. Happy 21st birthday, Bon. Love your family. And a member of the KUAM family here, Minnie Termulo, aka Mrs. Joser. He says, happy birthday to my wifey, Minnie, who is my first responder. Coming from hubby Joe, Sean, and Shiana. Happy birthday to you, Minnie. We hope you have a fantastic day. And to all our birthday celebrants, we wish you good health, good fortune, and a great birthday.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and be safe.